What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the August 7th, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. We were back in the studio this week, this time with Kevin Patrick and Matt Camp. The last couple of weeks on Talking Smack, it's been Matt Camp and Peter Rosenberg, with Matt Camp in the hosting role. This week they went back to Kevin Patrick and Matt Camp, which is the duo they had. I think the first week they had done Talking Smack in the studio. Personally, I prefer this duo. Kevin Patrick kind of taking the reins here as the host, and no sign of Peter Rosenberg, so that to me is a positive. It wasn't really that overly newsworthy of a show, per usual, as per the last couple of weeks, but I thought it was made a bit better by the duo of Kevin Patrick and Matt Camp. They recapped the ending of the show that saw Finn Balor knock off Baron Corbin in one-on-one action before being confronted and attacked by Roman Reigns and the Usos at the very end of the show. They also mentioned that Edge versus Seth Rollins and Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks are now official for SummerSlam coming up in a couple of weeks. They recapped the Street Profits' return to action on SmackDown as a team, their win over Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And then we have Kayla Braxton interviewing the Street Profits. And really, this lasted maybe all of a minute. Nothing really to note here at all. Montez Ford took the microphone from Kayla Braxton and made it fun. He kind of was the one who interviewed her. And they just mentioned that they were back on the field now. They're back in action. And he had Kayla say that they want the smoke. And that was really about it. There really is nothing else to note from their little mini interview there. Although it was fun to have Montez Ford being the one to interview Kayla Braxton and reverse the roles. I thought that was cool. We had Matt Camp mention that the Mysterios no longer have the momentum coming off Dominic Mysterio's loss to Jey Uso on SmackDown. They had beaten Jimmy, I think it was Ray beat Jimmy last week on SmackDown. So this week, Dominic lost to Jey. I believe it after interference from Jimmy Uso at ringside, and just another singles win for a member of the Usos. And they had kind of mentioned that the Mysterios going to have to battle back from this going into their SummerSlam rematch for the SmackDown Tag Team titles with the Usos. And that Dominic gets established now that Dominic needs Ray's help. Last week, Ray had Dominic's help. Or Dominic, maybe he beat someone last week. I don't fucking remember. I think it was Dominic who would beat Jimmy Uso. Now I'm pretty sure it was Ray who beat Jimmy Uso. But nonetheless, they had established that Dominic needs Ray's help in order to get one over on the Usos. Matt Camp and Kevin Patrick also recapped Tegan Nox's win over Tamina in one-on-one action on SmackDown after Shotzi Blackheart had to help her, or just Shotzi, or whatever they're calling her now. So, not only is Tegan Nox now wrestling in 2-minute matches on SmackDown, she has to have, help from her partner at ringside after Shotzi shot something from her tank into the ring, distracted Tamina long enough for Tegan Nox to roll up Tamina. Do we really need to protect Tamina in 2021? I mean, seriously, I know she's one half of the tag team champions, but that hasn't stopped this company before from beating their champions like a fucking drum. But anyway, they interview Tegan Nox and Shotzi, and Nox said that her win feels great, and Shotzi said that she applauds Tegan Nox, or Tegan Nox said, oh, she applauds Tegan, and Shotzi corrected her and said, no, I applaud Nox. So this is what confused me. So they called her Nox here. I don't think they ever referred to her as Tegan. But on SmackDown, I don't remember the commentary, but if you look on the website, they referred to her, and on WWE's YouTube channel, they referred to her as her full name, Tegan Nox. So I feel like they don't even know what her name is supposed to be. Hopefully it is her full name of Tegan Nox on the show and not just Nox, because just Nox is stupid. If their team name is like Shotzi and Nox or Shots and Nox or whatever, that's fine. But just Nox as just her singular name, and that's it. I mean, Shotzi can get away with it, but just Nox and not Tegan Nox would be fucking dumb. So hopefully that's not the case. They also talk about how they only let certain people on the tank, and Kayla asks, she inquires whether she'd be able to ride the tank, and Shotzi brings up that they will remain undefeated, and that they want the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. They all howl together. They all, let out that signature howl of Shotzi Blackheart, and that was it. Matt Camp says that Rollins has the advantage going into SummerSlam following his attack on Edge from last week. They bring up Edge calling Rollins Edge Light on SmackDown, in addition to Rollins mentioning Edge's family, really making it personal, and that match is now official for the pay-per-view. They also recap Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega one-on-one from SmackDown, and now Belair beat Vega, and they also recap the opening segment where Belair said, I'll not only face you, Sasha, at SummerSlam, but I'll also face and beat Zelina Vega here tonight on SmackDown, which is exactly what she did. Kayla Braxton interviews Sasha here on Talking Smack, and Sasha says that come SummerSlam, she will finally get her revenge. And she claims that Bianca cheated by using the braid, which is exactly what Bayley said in her series of matches with Bianca from a few months ago. That Bianca cheated by using the braid and blah, blah, blah. So you know you're a heel when you would bring up something like that. And maybe there's something to do with it if all these people are bringing it up. But anyway, she claims that Bianca cheated. That's not what she would do as the SmackDown Women's Champion. While she was champion, she helped bring people up. She helped elevate people. Bianca was one of those people, she says. And she says that she's the greatest and that she's going to be the new EST of WWE when she beats the best / the greatest in her mind, Bianca Belair, at SummerSlam and takes that championship from her. And then to close out the episode, Kevin Patrick brings up that Sasha's probably bitter, and that's kind of what her motivating factor is right now going into SummerSlam. And Matt Camp brings up a lot of the bad blood between these two women and how it's going to make for an even better match at SummerSlam than it was at WrestleMania, now that there's like an established feud between the two, and I completely agree with that. So that was Talking Smack in a nutshell. Again, really nothing to note from these episodes whatsoever. The only thing noting about this episode compared to the last couple of weeks was that we had Matt Camp, or rather Kevin Patrick back here on Talking Smack, and they took off Peter Rosenberg. I don't know if that was a one-week thing, if they didn't care about Peter Rosenberg and they just replaced him outright. I don't know. Because they started with Patrick and Camp a few weeks ago, and then went to Camp and Rosenberg before going back to now Patrick and Camp. So I don't know what the deal is there. Hopefully they stick with this duo because they're just significantly stronger, in my opinion, than Camp and, or in my opinion, Matt Camp and Peter Rosenberg. I like Matt Camp, but Peter Rosenberg is just a fucking goof. But yeah, decent episode of Talking Smack this week by the recent standards. The Sasha Banks interview was probably most worthwhile to watch from this episode of Talking Smack, and even that's probably available in full on the YouTube channel, on WWE's YouTube channel, that is. So really not worth watching this episode on the whole of Talking Smack. But yeah, that's it, guys, for my thoughts on the August 7, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. Thank you guys for checking out the show. I appreciate it. This show, that is, not Talking Smack. Who cares about that? But yeah, be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. We're going to have a Suicide Squad review coming up soon in the next couple of days, breaking down the What If show, premiering this Wednesday, probably up in the next, by the end of the week, I would imagine, that'll be up. Here on the channel. In addition to my interview going up, I believe today, if I'm not mistaken, with Nikki Ash. It's probably already up here on the channel, so check that out. The Raw Women's Champion here on the channel, talking all about her reign, her title win, cashing in Money in the Bank, the superhero character, which you guys probably know I'm not fond of, but she's an incredibly nice person. We had a great conversation about it, so check that out when you get a chance, and an article form over on Bleacher Report. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.